We begin tonight, of course, with water, although where to start is the question. With the tens of thousands of New Zealanders getting sick from unsafe drinking water each year, with the Health Ministry's drinking water team under-resourced and structured ineffectively, with the fact it's smaller than the Ministry's communications team, or with the complete failure of leadership within the Ministry. Tonight, what we've learned about water in New Zealand from Stage 2 of the Havelock North water inquiry. We begin with our political reporter, Benedict Collins.
The inquiry's first report, released earlier this year, was highly critical of both the Hastings District Council and Hawke's Bay Regional Council for failing to safeguard the town's drinking water. In its second report, the inquiry has found Havelock North is not an isolated case, and about 800,000 people around the country are at risk of getting sick because their water's not treated. It's calling for universal treatment of water supplies and the establishment of an independent regulator to monitor drinking water to replace the Ministry of Health. The government says the public will be concerned by many aspects of the report and the incompetence of officials it has exposed. And the Attorney-General, David Parker, told Parliament the country must do better.
The report shows what most New Zealanders will see as shocking levels of non-compliance with current drinking water standards and government incompetence, especially at the Ministry of Health. It reports that despite serious non-compliance by many water suppliers, the Ministry of Health have not issued one compliance notice or taken one enforcement action anywhere in New Zealand in the last 5 years.
Mr Parker told a press conference the recommendation to treat all reticulated water supplies is not as controversial as it used to be.
Hastings, I think, has come to the terms with the fact that they have to treat their water. As I was saying, Mosgiel on the outskirts of Dunedin's another quite large population centre, and Lower Hutt. There are some other populations that are not yet treating their water, and that's an issue that the government's going to have to work through.
And David Parker says the government will look at the report's recommendation to set up an independent regulator to replace the Ministry of Health after its failings.
Central government has for at least 5 years known that water supplies have not been doing their duty, and the Ministry of Health and those responsible for them have effectively failed New Zealanders. They say that over the last 5 years not one compliance notice, never mind one prosecution, was brought, notwithstanding the fact that they knew that we had serious problems in parts of New Zealand and it wasn't getting better.
The National Party leader, Bill English, says there has been a big investment in lifting water standards across communities, but he admits it's very expensive in small towns.
Some of them have been a bit reluctant about that, but again, this is infrastructure that's controlled by your local council. Your local council owns it, they supervise it, they're responsible for making sure that clean water is delivered, and so local communities can influence it.
Bill English says National will support any legislation the government puts in place to enact the report's recommendations. The Health Minister, David Clark, will take a briefing to Cabinet before Christmas on the government's next steps. From Parliament for Checkpoint, Benedict Collins.